And we're going to continue our post coverage of CES 2019. Lots of things to talk about at the control panel. Producer extraordinaire Jim Walsh.
Hello, lovely day.
Lovely day. Did you? Well, did you watch the what was it? The Super Blood Wolf Moon on TV last night?
I started to watch it, and then it went behind a cloud. So
you actually seen a little bit of it?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm kidding. I was making a joke there. I was going to say it went behind a cloud, so now I don't know how it turned out.
Oh, right. Yeah, well, unfortunately, we live in an area where it was totally cloudy, but I have seen some footage this morning. It was absolutely stunning.
Magnificent.
I don't think I've ever seen a moon that color. It was did you see it, Dave?
No, I did not.
I'm a stargazer. I love stuff like that.
I do too. And it was almost like it was a gradient red across the moon where it was amazing. It was amazing.
The blue moon or blood moon, some of them refer to it as, is very historic, I mean, as far as biblical times.
Right.
So there's going to be some stuff happening. Just be prepared.
All right.
Okay.
I'm gonna hike I'm gonna get my pants a little higher for the floods that are coming. Right.
No floods.
So, okay.
No more floods.
All right. So
no locusts, I hope.
Yeah.
There will be some plagues, Jim.
All right.
Oh, okay.
Perfect. We're looking forward to that. So anyway, we had quite a time at CES, Dave. I don't know.
Oh man, yeah, it was amazing. Again, 2.9 million square feet of space.
Yeah,
2.9 million.
And I took 2.9 million steps.
Yeah,
at this event
I think
too.
we both did a little bit. You know, and what was 170,000 people is what they said it was there.
It felt a little less crowded this year, I thought, but maybe it's just because it was just more space. I don't know.
I think that had a lot to do with it as well. But obviously, I enjoyed the startup village.
Yep.
And
that's my favorite part of it too.
That was crowded.
Yeah, and we went there on the third day, and yeah, I agree. It was, but imagine what that would have been like on the first day.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, which is why we stayed away for the first couple of days. But
it's all about timing and figuring out what you want to see because you can't see everything.
Right, it's impossible. It's impossible. So yeah, we so if you go to the Tech Ranch channel on YouTube, we've started to post the videos that Dave and I have done up on that, and we'll have it at thetechranch.com as well. We're just starting to get those up there right now. So
now, from what I'm hearing about CES, a lot of people were talking about 5G, like it's going to be the be-all, end-all, and save the world.
Right.
Your thoughts?
Sure. It's going to take a while. That's why and what's crazy is by the time they roll out 5G, 6G will be here probably because it's going to be an easy 5 years before most of the country will see it because it's a $300 billion upgrade to the infrastructure in this country to make 5G possible.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money. And the other thing that's interesting about it is that I'm trying to think of the best way to say this, but I guess the best way to say this is like the difference between AM and FM radio, right?
Okay.
AM radio, the waves are much longer.
Yeah.
So then the radio waves are, so that you get much, more coverage with the same wattage that you don't get with FM.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
But everybody will probably agree with me that FM sounds better, right?
Yeah, the fidelity is FM.
Right,
sure.
Right. But if you start rolling 20 or 30 miles away from an FM signal, it cuts out really quick, where AM sometimes you can go hundreds and hundreds of miles and stay tuned in. So that's exactly the difference between 4G and 5G. Right. So think of 4G as AM, 5G is FM. Okay, we're going to get 10 to 100 times faster speed with 5G. Okay. And we're talking data, by the way, for your smart devices, for those of you who or maybe are not keeping up with our conversation here. But the thing is that they have to put out a bunch more antennas. I mean, you're going to have antennas that are going to be probably attached to light poles, every 3 or 4 light poles going down Main Street, for example.
So it's the infrastructure thing, and that's going to take a while.
It will take a while. It's going to take a long time to get
well,
this
then
done.
Upgrading your phones too, right?
Well, when you buy a phone in the future, I'm going to guess if you're like on a 2-year plan, and your 2-year plan comes up this year, like mine does, for example, and I might be out shopping for a new phone here pretty soon, you're probably not going to find much with 5G. Because, I mean, there are some phones that are coming out in February. And if you're lucky enough to live in the 12 communities in the United States that have 5G right now, then you can utilize that. But there's almost nothing that's really readily available for this. But you have to start somewhere. Right? You know, and that's what this is about. I mean, and all of our stuff moving forward, our cars, all this stuff is, you know, going to be connected. And you can't really do it at the speeds that we have now. I mean, it'd be okay. It won't be great. But the difference is, I mean, when you think about this, to download a movie, for example, that would maybe take you 5 minutes to download maybe to your phone now, will take seconds.
Whoa.
I mean, it's significant. 3G to 4G was significant.
You bet.
4G to 5. I mean, that really made the difference between us being able to start using GPS on our phones, you know, in real time and all this stuff. 4G to 5G is going to make it so that our cars can talk and relay information to other cars in real time, so that if somebody hits a deer a half mile in front of us, your car will know in plenty of time in the fog. Your car will know in plenty of time that there's a car disabled on the road in front. I mean, that's what we're after. So I hope that helps answer your question.
Well, thank you. I've got other questions, too. Should I hold on to them?
No, let's get at them.
Absolutely. Okay, a word that I'm told people were hearing and throwing a lot, bantering about a lot, blockchain.
Okay.
Tell me about blockchain.
So it's a bunch of people that wear blocks, and they put their arms together and form a chain.
Well, like a Red Rover,
That's exactly right.
Let Marlo
and over. I'll tell you what, it swept the floors like crazy. These people would come in and just knock you down.
Yeah.
Blockchain. So, I mean, it's cryptocurrency. That's what most people know it as. You know, so Bitcoin and that type of thing. That's the start of blockchain, but it's not what it really is all about. It's about security. Yeah. And you're going to see blockchain in the ability to move files, large files. Okay. I know a company in particular that we can move a whole computer's worth of stuff with one click. And it's not something that you have to upload and then download. You send an email with this basically link in it, and the person that's receiving it clicks the link, and then it actually pulls that information from the sender's computer, as opposed to having them upload it someplace first. And then so it's really interesting, and I think you're going to get.
We need to get an expert on that.
We do.
You know, in fact, I got a couple people too that could really do a good job of explaining that, because you're going to hear that more and more, Jim.
Well, and we have a cryptocurrency ATM in our shop now.
Yes,
and it's amazing how many people are coming in and taking advantage of that.
I would like to see. I'll stop by and check that out.
You can come over and buy Bitcoin at our shop right now. It's amazing. So
not today though.
No, not today. No. So after the break, everybody, we will continue our conversation on CES 2019.
Right now, 11 degrees.
Dave Ramsey is heard here. Super Talk 1270.
Follow the Guru of Geek at Facebook.com/The Tech Ranch or Twitter at Guru of Geek or TheTechRanch.com. Here again is your Guru of Geek, Marlo Anderson.
And we're doing a follow-up to CES 2019. If you want to see some of the people that we chatted with, you can head on over to the Tech Ranch channel on YouTube. A lot of the interviews that Mr. Rockin, Dave, Blair, and I did at CES are starting to get posted up there. We have about 20 or 25 of those interviews now. And we're going to talk about some of the companies today that we talked to. And did you have any other questions for us, Jim? Or?
Oh, I got smart speakers. Let's talk about the latest on smart speakers.
Okay. So did you see any smart speakers?
Nope, but I saw a smart TV.
Okay. So how smart was the TV?
Oh, well, speakers were built in, so it came through the screen.
So that was pretty amazing, wasn't it?
Yeah, and the sound was incredible.
So what he's talking about is that the screen, I mean, there's no sound bar. The speakers were actually mounted behind the screen and came through the screen, Jim.
Right.
It was absolutely incredible how good this television sounded.
Then obviously the clarity of it too.
Well, yeah. You stood there and watched this thing, and it was just incredible. Because it was an 8K television as well.
Right.
So, and I think the TV ran like $3,000, something like that.
Oh, okay.
So
steep.
Are you? Yeah, but for today's standards, but it's an 8K television with amazing audio built into it. That's flat, So pretty cool. So on smart speakers, I mean, are you interested in the war between Apple and Google and Amazon Alexa? Or
I'm curious about that. Yeah. By the way, what's the deal with Amazon handing out bananas? Did you see that? I heard that they actually, at one kiosk, they were handing out bananas.
Yeah, I heard that too, but I didn't see it. Did you see that, Dave?
Nope, I did not.
And I don't know why they were doing that. But somebody came up to me and they were laughing about it, so I don't know if it was some type of gimmick or something that they were doing.
Google was definitely big time there.
Oh, my goodness.
They everywhere. They had these people in white jumpsuits.
Yeah, everybody, people weren't OK Google, and of course the trains had wraps on them that said OK Google.
Yeah, somebody told me that Google obviously dropped a load of money.
They did. They did. I think they're really going after the smart speaker market.
Yeah.
And I will say, I wasn't until about, I picked up one of the little Google Assistants probably a month before Christmas because they had them on Black Friday for $25. Yeah. I thought, all right, I'm going to check one out and see what I think. I've actually pretty much switched over to Google.
Yeah, I know. I mean,
over Alexa. And it's hard for me to say that because I have a lot of Alexas, and I love the technology. It's just that Google seems to be a little bit more responsive. And so right now, I think Google's winning the war in that space. So if that helps you, Jim.
Yeah.
I do have the Google Home Hub. Have two of those, actually, one at work, one at home. It's got the video screen on it. And I love that thing because you can just pull up videos and watch them too. And I know Amazon has one similar. The difference between the two is that the Amazon one has a camera on it. The Google one does not. So those who are interested in maybe a little more security, privacy, I should say, maybe would prefer the Google one over the Amazon one.
I got a comment here from an acquaintance of mine who was also there.
Okay.
I'm going to read it to you, what he said, and I want to get your thoughts on it. He said, talking about the consumer electronics industry, the days when they could get you to buy a new TV every few years are over now. They'd still like you to buy the new 8K OLED set, but not yet, he says. The industry, though, is reacting by shifting to a business-to-business strategy.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
For the most part. How much better can your TVs get? I still think that the television, though, is probably the number one gift at Christmas.
Oh, sure.
Right now. And it's only because you can pick up a decent television for $200 or $300.
Yeah. I noticed that at Walmart they have.
Oh, it's amazing, right? So if you have somebody who has a 25 or 30-inch flat screen, now the big deal is to move that up to a 40 or a 50 or a 60-inch, And,
84.
Or,
Skyworth was the name of the company. I was trying to find it.
Okay. Oh, that 84-inch one, yeah. Well, they had the one, was it Panasonic that had the one that's 220-some inches wide? I mean, you think about that. A basketball hoop is 120 inches high. 10 feet, right?
Right.
So this is almost 2 basketball hoops high for the width. I mean, most people don't even have a wall to mount that thing on. You know? It's amazing how big that television is.
I mean, most of us, our ceilings are like 7 or 8 feet.
Exactly. Exactly. So, yeah, that'll be for special rooms. But I agree with you, Jim. I think that the business-to-business model is, and I think that's where, the speakers are too, the smart speakers and things, because that's where I use mine all the time, adding stuff to my calendar and all this good stuff, right? So it's really cool for that space. It really is.
And you talked about what's happening in that world, and I think that you're going to see more and more TVs that are going to be just so accustomed to doing everything in your home. So you're going to be talking to your TV
I agree.
all the time.
All that stuff is going to be getting integrated. Yeah, I agree with that. I think in the next 3 or 4 or 5 years, our Amazons and Alexa, or our Amazons, our Googles, and your smart remotes are already starting to do this. You don't even have to use the remote anymore to turn it up or turn it down. You can just say turn TV up, turn TV down, whatever. It's all going to get integrated. You're absolutely right. And the TV, will become your picture frames. And in fact, I see people, just because the TVs are becoming so cheap, that instead of buying art and putting it on the walls, it's going to be TV screens, and then you can just change the art whenever you want to.
Yeah, whenever mood you're in.
Right, exactly right. And you can even change it up during the day. I mean, we're doing this at our shop now.
Yeah.
I mean, I have TV screens up, and that's what we do is we display photos from around the world on those screens. So it's certainly, things are changing as far as screens go. Yeah. Screens are going to be everywhere.
Yeah.
So Jim, there was one client, that's not the word. One technology that was what did the guy call it? The technology of the past.
Okay.
He said he was the least technology person there. And it was the TV jock strap.
Oh, yeah.
The TV jock strap.
Yeah.
Well, you can explain it real quick.
I'll just, and I think we did an interview on it real quick, but I was standing next to this one booth waiting to talk to him, and this guy was standing all by himself, and he had this TV, and he had this black stretchy cord band, almost like a belt, going across the bottom of the TV. And if you're like me, I get distracted easy. So you got all that stuff running across the bottom of your TV. Well, he invented this thing that hides that, so you don't see that.
Okay.
So
you don't see the running news or whatever.
Yeah, running news or running sports events and what's going on.
Yeah.
Some people like that, but I hate it. And he obviously does too. And so, I got you one, and I got one. I haven't put it on my TV yet, but there again, not very techy, but one of those things where, I hope he makes it.
It sounds like something you would wear,
Yeah.
You would attach it to your, the front of your person there, and you could sit and watch TV, I guess, if you're lying in your lounge chair or your lazy boy.
It's actually designed more for bigger televisions.
It's for the big television, you stretch it over the top. And you can, any size, really.
Yep.
So.
Because I was going to use that as kind of a segue, a lead into talking about wearables. Now, as I understand in wearables, the two big ones right now are Apple Watch and Fitbit. My friend, though, the fellow I told you who was also at CES, he's kind of skeptical about wearables, things like the health enhancers, the health watch.
Yep.
He's skeptical that people might not want to buy it because of security concerns.
I guess I've never really thought about it that way, but I suppose if you're tracking, are you
talking about the health monitoring devices?
So you're concerned about like ID theft type of thing, where somebody steals your information and now they know more about you than maybe you want them to know.
I believe that's what he's talking about.
Yeah, that's interesting. I guess I've never really thought about it.
Okay.
I think about it the other way, that the continuous monitoring of your heart and that type of thing is a good thing, because the goal is to actually be able to tell if you're going to have a heart attack a few weeks in front of having a heart attack, right? So your watch.
And maybe it's a trade-off, but to me, for one, that would be worth having.
Yeah, and I find it interesting that I was listening to a conversation just last night, as a matter of fact. So everybody likes to get their steps in, right? They got the watch on. That's probably the number one thing people talk about, is getting their 10,000 steps in, or whatever their goal is for the day, right? And all I was hearing in this conversation is ways that they can cheat it. And I'm like, why are you trying to cheat the watch?
Yeah.
They're sitting there and they figure out, hey, if you swing your arms quick in the chair or whatever, then it'll count for steps. Then this other person said, well, I just attach it to my ankle, and I tap my foot during the day when I'm sitting at the office.
Like a solution in search of a problem here.
What are you trying to do with this?
Why even wear it then? Why even have it?
I mean, I understand. This is what happens, and I get into this myself. You're on a streak, right? You've hit your goal for 6 days in a row, 7 days in a row, and you're feeling good about it, and you're getting these rewards for it, just digital rewards, but you get these little things, right? And then you get to the day that you're probably not going to make your goal, so then you're cheating the system by putting it on your ankle and tapping it to music at work, and then it counts it at steps. The only person you're cheating is yourself.
It's like some people have this weird need to outsmart it.
That's very interesting, Jim.
Yeah.
I actually think that might be what it is.
Like they're intimidated by the technology.
So they're just
they
trying
have to prove to
outsmart
themselves that they can work around
You're
it.
still smarter than the watch
still
or
smarter
something.
than,
Well,
I don't know.
you know,
That's interesting.
the other thing that's important, too, is that a lot of these devices now that track whether it's your blood sugars or your heartbeat, all of that, I mean, they're recording that, so you don't have to go into the doctor as much either.
Right.
You know, and they might said, hey, Dave, you got to do more steps.
Well, and in fact, on your phone too, Dave, is the Samsung Health piece, right?
Yep.
You can actually dial up a doctor. I don't know if you knew that you had that option on your phone.
Dial a doctor.
Nope.
You dial a doctor on your phone, and because you've been tracking all of your stuff with your watch, the doctor knows what your pulse has been and all this other stuff, so they can take a look at your records right away and make a determination. So it's pretty interesting, and more after the break.
Right now, 11 degrees.
The Red River Farm Network. Ag News is here on Super Talk 1270.
We're back to the Tech Ranch. Stream this program now at supertalk1270.com. Here is your guru of geek, Marlo Anderson.
So Jim was just talking about wearables, smart devices before the break, and over the break then you got me curious, Jim, about Samsung Health.
Oh, okay.
So both Dave and I have the Samsung Note 8.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed that, when I hooked my watch up, I have a Samsung Gear watch, and when I hooked that up to my phone, this health piece popped up, and it keeps track of the steps I take, my heart rate, that type of thing. In fact, if my heart rate goes, I've never had it happen, but if it goes above a certain amount, it actually gives you an alarm and all of this good stuff. So I was going into the Samsung Health thing, and they have a telehealth piece in here. And this is going to be very interesting as we move forward, and this is probably the future of medicine. And the very first thing that it asks me on here is to add my insurance card. Mm-hmm. So this is actually something that insurance will pay for, or as part of the deal, So I would imagine they like it because they're able to get their costs down, right? Because you're not, it's available 24/7, and they can do a lot of diagnosis with the video visit, and able to give you prescriptions with the video visit. So it's very interesting, and I'm going to continue. In fact, we may just continue to talk about this next week, because
I think it's pretty cool.
Finish filling this out and maybe even do something.
Do you remember I talked about with me being the diabetic? I went to this one booth that has this little clip you put on the back of your phone,
right,
and you can do all your blood sugars right there.
And it keeps track of it on your phone.
It keeps track of it.
Yeah.
So instead of
monitor your blood sugar.
Yeah.
Instead of you still gotta prick your finger for the blood,
of course.
But you just set it on there, and then it records it, and then it keeps track of it.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And they're actually cheaper than the strips.
Yeah, a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
So
Now, are these on the market yet?
They're just coming out. They can do the cholesterol. There's like four different these monitors that go on the back of your phone. So I'm gonna keep track of those things.
Yeah, give me that information, because when I see my doctor in the spring for my checkup, I will ask about that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, it's something that I think we can just buy straight up, right?
Yeah.
So you don't even have to ask your doctor. You can actually just buy it.
Yeah, but I'm
and
just
keep
wondering
track.
on insurance. I haven't
You
figured
might
that
have
one
to,
yet,
right.
because those strips aren't cheap, and if you have insurance, they're all right. But if you don't, they're expensive. But I'm gonna find out some more information on that when they're gonna actually come out on the market, and I'll let you know, Jim. But
And to get the insurance, sometimes you do have to go through the doctor.
Right.
Exactly.
You got to get the referral or whatever it is, right? Yeah, but I'm gonna continue my research on the telehealth thing here, because
I'm just measuring my blood pressure right now.
Yeah, you can actually, or your heart rate. Yeah, you can put your finger on the telemetry button back there. You're right, and it'll actually measure it for you. So
it's going up and down. That's good.
And that's a good thing. It also measures stress.
Oh, now it went straight line. Oh no!
Oh no!
You just have to put your finger back on.
Yeah, I know.
Dave, yeah. So, listen, is that how they pronounce it? Lizn. You did this interview, with the hear pieces is what they're called. Lizn. Yep.
Yeah.
So, as aware of earpieces, I guess.
Yeah. Well,
hearing aids,
which I need desperately. But the thing is, one of the things that I noticed a lot with these, a lot of these bugs, we call them ear bugs.
right?
Yeah.
They stick out. They look, I don't know, they just look bad.
Sure.
These are a little button that actually goes inside your
Yeah.
ear, and you could hardly see. It's got different colors that you can get too for styling, and they're not that expensive. I think they were
$200.
$200
For a set.
for one set. Okay, and
What do hearing aids cost normally?
$3,500.
Oh my goodness! And these are Bluetooth as well, so
Yep.
they hook up to your phone. So when
Yep.
you get a phone call or whatever, you're hearing them through. And
Exactly.
I mean that's a new thing with hearing aids as well.
Yes.
Yep. And you
But-
just tap them so it goes high volume, low volume.
Okay.
They have two
Very good.
settings on there as well. But what I talked to this manufacturer about, I said, somebody needs to come out with something that definitely could pair to your TV, Bluetooth, but also movie theaters. Because, man, when I go to the movie, my hearing aids, they're not, I mean, it's good, and they got great sound there. But, man, if I could just connect with the movie and their sound system, it would be great.
There you go.
Right?
There's
So
some,
I've already talked to a couple of groups out there, and I'm going, this is what you guys
yeah,
need
that would
to
be
find
interesting.
out.
You'd have a lot of people that would tie into it. That's
Exactly.
for sure. So.
Yep.
So one of my favorite companies, this is probably the third or fourth year I've interviewed them, is Whoosh, WHOOSH.
Whoosh.
So, it's funny you bring that up like that,
Whoosh.
Jim, because did you know that your screen on your device is 10 times dirtier than a public toilet seat?
I've heard that.
So Whoosh,
I just read that somewhere about a week
Yeah.
ago.
it's
Might have been your site.
crazy how bad your phones can be.
Yeah.
And especially if they get shared around. But this is the thing. It's no different than your hands, right? So,
Yeah.
you come out of a public washroom and you touch something, you touch the door handle here, and you do whatever else. Well, you're transferring all that to your phone. You wash your hands multiple times during the day, but how often do you wash your phone? So you wash your hands and then you put your hands on the phone and you're right back to where you were before you washed your hands.
Welcome to
So,
flu season.
yeah, exactly. So Whoosh is a great way to clean your devices, and it's relatively reasonable to do, and they're everywhere. Everywhere you would buy cleaning supplies or whatever, you can get Whoosh, and it'll clean off your phone. So I use it on mine all the time, and it does a great job. In fact,
pick
I
some
always,
up, yeah.
it's really good. So
We're still on phones just a little bit. Do you remember actually was the number one device both Amazon and Google picked for a locking device that you put in the stall in the bathroom. So a lot of times you forget your phone or falls fall in the toilet.
right.
It just sits in so you go in the stall and you've got this device that you put your phone in and it locks the door.
Yeah.
And the only way you can get out is to take the phone back
Ah.
out again. So you're going to have it all the time.
Yeah.
Right.
It's pretty clever.
Yeah.
Can't leave without it.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Exactly. But you talk about dirtiness. I swear I always kind of watch how many people wash their hands and how many people don't.
Right.
It's amazing
Yeah.
how many people
Yeah.
don't wash their hands.
And usually the ones that don't wash are the ones that are on their phones.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. I can't get over how many people are in the restroom,
that's true,
public
but-
restrooms
Yeah,
talking
but
on their phones.
Whoosh
but-
is
yeah.
really a clever cleaning.
Yeah, it really
solution.
is, and they're a great company, and they're out to kind of change this thing about making the world a little better. So the bread bot, you had that opportunity to visit.
I had
with
that. Jim, you might appreciate this. What are the two smells that you good smells out
good
there
smells.
that you get attracted to?
Well, you're talking about the bread box. I'm thinking
Bread.
the smell of freshly baked bread.
What else?
Well, food smells, things like
Popcorn.
coffee, popcorn.
Popcorn is a really one.
Coffee is
but
a good one, too, though.
Coffee is a good one, too. But this one, we actually talked a little bit about it 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
About this bread bot. And it is amazing. The experience of watching bread get made. And that's kind of what they were trying to do, is getting people to come into to the grocery stores and watch your bread and getting it fresh.
Yep.
And that was pretty cool. But the real cool thing is version 2 that they're going to come out with, where you can order the kind of ingredients you want in your bread, and it'll make it for you. And then when you come and get it in an hour, it's ready. So you're going to be able to put the ingredients, how much salt you want and all that into it. And then you have your own recipes that you can share with the world.
Yeah, that's cool.
Well, remember a few years ago when bread machines were all the rage.
Right.
And then they kind of fell out of favor. You don't hear as much about them anymore.
Yeah. This actually makes 10 loaves an hour.
Whoa.
This machine. So it just continues to just pump out bread.
So it's more for a business. It's not something you would necessarily have in your kitchen.
It is for a business,
Right,
and in fact, it's not even for sale. The only way you can get them is by leasing them.
Again, the B2B thing.
Right, exactly right. So you're if you're a grocery store and want to put fresh bread in without having to have all the labor costs involved with it, this thing will create this stuff, and then like I said, over the course, it works overnight. So in the morning, then you got 120 loaves of bread sitting there ready to go. Plus, it continues to make it during the day. So that's how you.
You could do. I suppose restaurants, could do it.
I can see that.
Definitely.
Absolutely, all these places who give you fresh bread when you show up. That's a great idea, actually. So
that was pretty cool.
It was. Color 3D printing was a first time I'd ever seen this. So you could print, like the cup that you have right there, Jim. What's it got? The Avengers on there?
The Avengers, the Hulk and the whole gang here.
It would actually print that way.
Oh, I like it.
You can print figurines. You can print. It was amazing. What they had there.
Yeah, I got one with Elvis on it here.
I mean,
I get my cats on it.
There, that's right. Now, obviously, what you have there is a little different process. You probably don't want to 3D print a cup like that.
No.
But figurines, for example, or whatever that need to have full color, it was pretty impressive. This printer also printed in ceramic, which I thought was also pretty impressive too. So after the break, everybody, we will continue the conversation on CES. Come on back.
Currently, it's 11.
Here's Sean Hannity, weekday afternoons on Super Talk 1270.
Follow the Guru of Geek everywhere he goes. Post your comments or questions at thetechranch.com. Once again, your Guru of Geek, Marlo Anderson.
And everything we're talking about today you can find on our YouTube channel. You can go to youtube.com/The Tech Ranch Show. And you can see all the interviews that we did.
Yeah.
We don't have them all up there yet, but
we're catching up.
We are
mostly
catching up.
It's my fault.
Well,
the issue is on our end. It's
we're
backlogged.
On the audio side,
yeah,
okay, but the video side is on Dave and me. We still have many videos that have to be edited to put up yet.
Okay.
So,
and we had a phenomenal guy that came and did.
Our cameras.
Our
camera work
guy.
This year is amazing.
You'll see the quality.
It's really nice.
And the nice thing about it, this year it was recorded.
Yes.
Last year it wasn't.
We had some challenges last year that we won't get into.
Did.
So,
Jim, you had a question?
Yes.
Yeah, I was going to say, we were talking about CES and about your impressions this year. And I wanted to ask you about what's going on in podcasting, because I hear tell that Spotify in particular is getting really aggressive with the podcasting thing.
So there's a lot of places that are getting really aggressive. Google is also getting very aggressive. And there's, I'll have to think about the name of the other one. But yeah, they're all getting very aggressive. And the reason for it is that there are just more and more podcasts coming out, and more people are able to listen to them.
Well, what about iTunes? I hear or tell that they're falling out of favor with a lot of people.
Well, there hasn't been a major upgrade to iTunes since, when did it come out? 2004? Somewhere in that neighborhood?
Yeah, about the time I first got here.
Yeah. They haven't really done much to upgrade it. And these other services, I guess you could say, are probably more robust and that type of thing. So
smelling the blood.
Yeah, so and that's the reason why you see like Google coming after this and Spotify and whatever. I'm not going to say, iTunes will always be a big deal.
Yeah.
There are just too many people that have Apple devices. But this is very interesting. At CES this year, Samsung Television, they came out and stated that they will now be iTunes compatible. So this is the first time that I'm aware of anyway that Apple has come out and allowed a non-Apple product to utilize, so you'll be able to turn on your Samsung TV and then go to your iTunes account from Samsung. Okay, you won't have to have an Apple TV hooked up to it directly.
Well, let me ask you something. Somebody who just now getting into maybe making music, recording music, or doing podcasts,
sure.
Where would you recommend they go?
I wouldn't recommend any of them. I would just do as many. I would just do as many as you can.
Oh, just cover all the bases.
So
what about YouTube?
There are, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So there are services like the Blueberry Network, which we're on. Okay?
Yes, we are.
So if you're with Blueberry, I'm always a fan of things that you can do one-to-many.
Yeah.
Right. So Blueberry allows you to do that. You can post up to Blueberry, and then Blueberry sends it on to iTunes, to Spotify, to Tuned In, to Roku, to all of these other platforms for you. So that's the way you want to do it.
Sounds like, the idea is cover all the bases so they literally cannot throw a rock in any direction without finding you.
That's correct. So, if you want to be strong in one of those areas like iTunes or Spotify, that's fine. But I don't think you want to not have a presence on the other ones if it doesn't cost you anymore.
It's a case where you don't want to put all the eggs in the one basket.
That's correct, because you're going to have a market at Spotify just as you would have at iTunes, right?
Right.
It might not be as big, but there will be some people that will want to listen to you there. And the reason, so of the public right now, and this is pretty amazing, in the last 3 years, listenership in the general public has gone from 8% to 23% for podcasts. Okay. And the reason for it is that our vehicles, it's just getting easier and easier and easier to listen to podcasts while we travel around.
Well, when I rented that car a couple of weeks ago when I went back to my hometown, I rented a Kia, and it had all kinds of bells and whistles that were compatible for that stuff.
Absolutely. So it's easy to listen to your favorite podcast while you're going to work or what have you. So now it's up to 23%. Well, it's been a huge thing, right? They increased the last 3 years, but we're only at 23% of the public right now that listens to podcasts. So they're looking at this and going, "Oh my goodness, we still got another 75% to go. Where is this going?" Right? So people are really starting to jump into the bandwagon of podcasting.
And it actually fits in well with what we're doing with the Q1 network.
Absolutely.
And I think the other key component here too is, and we've talked about this maybe a little bit, is that, podcasts don't have to be 30 minutes, 40 minutes. In fact, you might lose them. I think these micro, mini podcasts that we've talked about, I think are the future. Where you just Jim, you do a 3-minute segment, and they're going, God, that's good. I want to listen to that again.
Right.
Well, I know a lot of guys in my line of work in the talk business or radio business who do these. Some do longer shows. Some of them still just record the radio show and transfer it over, which is fine, I guess. But you really have to adapt it to the medium. And that's what a lot of guys I know are doing, is that they're adapting it. Shorter sound bites is what it boils down to.
Or vignettes is what we call it.
Yeah, well, vignettes, like guys like Hannity, they have their little 3-minute vignettes, and they transfer it over to the podcast venue.
Yep, exactly.
One other interesting thing, Jim, and this is part of the CES we picked up on, is translation in different languages. So you could be reaching the whole world with your podcast.
Yeah, and it's
and I know we might be jumping ahead, but it kind of came to me that, wow, you don't have to just be English. You can be speaking in any other language that translates it for you.
Swahili, anything.
Well, it's funny you bring that up. So we did this interview, which is by the way, the biggest trending topic we have on the YouTube channel right now for us is this device called the Pocket Talk Translator.
Whoa.
74 different languages. It is the universal translator. It is half the size of our phone, Jim, right? And you just carry this along. It costs $300 and includes a 2-year data plan with this. And You talk to it, and it speaks in Swahili. The person in Swahili speaks, and it speaks in English back to you in real time.
Star Trek is here.
It was amazing. And when you were talking about when you guys were just talking about what you're talking about, especially if you do the vignettes for podcasts, you could probably play that to the device, and then you could have it play back in Swahili, and then you launch a version of it in French and Swahili and whatever, and then you're starting to cover all that stuff, right?
And I know, for an example, there's a lot of people, missionaries, that are trying to get their messages out and that kind of stuff to Africa. I mean, they don't even have to worry about that. They can it'll translate it. I think it's another cool opportunity.
Yeah. Politicians in states like Texas, where it's, for all practical purposes, it's a bilingual culture.
Right.
And they can speak in English and Spanish at the same time.
Oh, I thought you were talking hillbilly in English.
Yeah.
Well, that too.
Because I actually asked him.
Well, I'm thinking like when George W. was president.
Sure.
And, he apparently knows fluent Spanish,
right?
Which is a good thing for the governor of Texas to know.
Right.
And he would give two different addresses, one in English, one in Spanish, when he was in Texas. And now this, you don't even have to do that.
Well, or you don't have to bring a translator along with you,
yeah.
right? You would always be able to communicate with anybody.
Yeah.
Which is pretty amazing. It really is when you think about
it. And
a
lot of times that's important, whether you're in a cab or a Lyft or an Uber driver.
Right. And like Google Translate does a pretty good job too. I just don't think that they do 74 languages. No. I think they do about 20 right now.
Yeah.
So to have a dedicated device, I just, I don't see where every day, maybe in the United States, you would need a dedicated device. So a Google Translate would probably be okay, right? But if you're traveling abroad, to carry this device with you, I think would be a godsend. Actually, I mean, it would be pretty amazing. So, Pocket Talk, you want to check this thing out. It's brand new, and and it's available now. I think you can actually hop onto Amazon and buy this thing. A lot of the stuff that we talk, about at CES isn't available yet.
Yeah.
In fact, one of the questions that we almost always universally ask is this product available?
Sure.
Right.
So, yeah.
Well, and a lot of these products, they're looking for investors, too.
Right, exactly.
So before they can launch it, because a lot of them are prototypes out there.
Well, like the Foldamate.
Yeah.
Right? That was a prototype.
It was.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
How much money would you need to put into it to become an investor for some of these things?
Some of them they're looking for significant investment, but some of them have crowdfunding platforms, like Kickstarter or Indiegogo. So some of those you can drop in $50 or $100 and be part of it then anyway, So there's all kinds of opportunity out there.
And I think there was a lot of people that I picked up on talking to some of these startups, is like, are you an investor? I said, well, I could be, but, a lot of them are, and there's so many people out there looking to put money into startups.
Oh, yeah.
So,
a lot of people are
just
walking
finding
around
their comfort level.
Yep, exactly.
As well.
Exactly. So, yes, and, so the Foldamate, you have to talk about this thing. So did you put one of your shirts in this thing?
No, I never did.
Okay, but you watched them fold a few shirts.
Yeah, they were. It was amazing. I've been showing that video. A lot.
It's pretty
and
cool.
People
it's
love
a robot that folds clothes. Everybody. So anyway, thanks, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Pleasure as always, and everybody out there, have a great week.